you've been feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or just off this winter, you're not alone. I've been there too. Today I'm sharing the blueprint to become completely unrecognizable by the start of the summer so we can have the best summer of our lives after that. So why should you listen to me? I'm obsessed with habit building, productivity, and wellness. I feel like I've read every book, watched every video, and listened to every podcast I can get my hands on the subject. I think wellness is really personal and there are so many different facets to it. Physical, emotional, mental, and we'll touch on a little bit of all three in this video. I'll share a combination of the things that worked for me personally and helped me transform my life, as well as science-based tools that have been proven to have a positive impact on our well-being and health. Designing your challenge. You can think of this video like a menu where you can take what you want and leave what you don't. To create your own 75-day wellness challenge. I wanted this challenge to really be flexible to what you want and what you need in your day-to-day lifestyle. I didn't want to outline one rigid, specific way of doing things. Maybe you can try a new tool every week or couple of weeks for the full 75 days. So by the end of the challenge, you've integrated some new habits into your lifestyle, or maybe you want to go all in and pick a few of these habits, or if you want to go really crazy, you could do all of them from day 1 until day 75 and trying to be consistent throughout the whole period. I will be completing this challenge alongside all of you watching, and the goal for me personally is 75 days of pushing myself to develop new habits to become the best version of myself. If you want to check out the 75-day fitness challenge and nutrition challenge that you can do alongside this one, they will be linked up here and down below. Let's get into the menu of things that you can include in the 75-day challenge. The first thing you may want to think about implementing is designing your space to help you reach your goals. I actually got this concept from the book Atomic Habits, which I'll link down below. It's amazing. I like to try to reduce friction for my good habits as much as possible by designing my space to be conducive to me reaching my goals. So for example, I'll put fruits and veggies cut, chopped, cleaned, ready to go in the front of the fridge where they're visible and easily accessible. Alternatively, or in addition, I will put like candy or chips or things I maybe don't want to have as often on like a top shelf of my pantry, so that I won't just see them and think, oh, I want them just because I've seen them. I'll have to really go seek them out. Whereas I want the fruits and veggies and things that are a little bit more aligned with my nutrition goals, I want to see those and just reach for them because they're accessible. I also put my vitamins and supplements on top of my fridge or in my fridge so that I see them every day and remember to take them. This has been the only way that I've been able to take my vitamins on a daily basis, is having them at the front of my fridge. When I go in and get my milk for my coffee, I grab them. Or maybe if you're trying to work out more at home, you can put your weights or your workout gear or your yoga mat like in your bedroom or out in your living room or somewhere where you don't have to like pull them out of a closet or anything. You see them, you're reminded to do your workout, or when you're about to do your workout, it just takes out that little bit of friction at the start. Sometimes for me, that like is the difference between me doing the thing I want to do and not, is that little bit of initial friction. So designing your space to make it really easy to achieve your goals has been one of the most helpful things I've done. Next, skip the morning scroll. I really wish I was not giving you this tip. I wish it didn't work, but unfortunately it has changed my life. I'm so much more productive, happy, energized, and focused throughout the whole day if I don't scroll on my phone on social media in the first like 15 to 30 minutes after I wake up. Once I start scrolling, I just find it's really hard to stop and actually get out of bed. And there's evidence in the scientific literature that when we first do something novel after a period of not doing it, so in this case, picking up our phone to go on social media after not going on, obviously while we're sleeping, the dopamine hit that we get from that novel experience is quite substantial. It can be pretty hard to recover from that spike in dopamine, especially that early in the day. And I find that everything in my day feels duller after I go on social media in the morning because I just crave more of it and want to go back to it. This might sound dumb, but I also sometimes make a little game out of it where I try to see how long I can go without using my phone, which just makes it a little bit more fun to do. The next is morning sunlight, and I hate to admit it, but this winter I've been terrible at getting my morning sunlight. When it's cold and the sun doesn't rise until later in the morning, it's really tough for me to get outside, but now that the weather is warming up, I have no excuse. This was one of the most transformative things I did last summer. Here's how you do it. All you need to do is go outside, look around, not wearing any sunglasses. You can't do this through a windshield or a window. You don't get the correct wavelengths. Ideally, we want to get morning sunlight in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking up, but even later than that, it can still be beneficial. I usually shoot for the 10 to 20 minute range based on the effective amount in the research, but even just doing a little bit can be beneficial for just helping us to feel alert and awake. Don't look at the sun directly, please. That will damage your eyes. Before you decide not to try this, here are some of the benefits of it. It helps to set our circadian clock, which helps us to feel alert and energized during the day and sleepy in the evening. It can help improve our sleep and our overall mood, help manage processes like hunger or regulate body temperature. It aids in our body's ability to produce serotonin, which is commonly referred to as the happiness hormone. It increases early day cortisol release, which is actually a good thing. We want our cortisol to spike in the morning so we can feel alert, focused, and energized during the day, and then taper off during the day to be lower in the evening so we can feel relaxed going into sleep. This also positively influences our immune system, metabolism, and ability to focus. So I find that it is really worth those 5 or 10 minutes in the morning to see all of these amazing benefits. The next tool you may want to consider is habit tracking. I found that it's one of the most important parts of actually being able to implement a new habit, the simple act of just tracking these habits daily. I personally love using Notion for habit tracking, and there's a link to download Notion for free in the description if you'd like. In the Radiant community, there is a goal and habit tracker I designed with like some cool features if you're interested in that. But honestly, you could just do it in a physical notebook, a sticky note. You could do it in the notes on your phone. You could create your own Notion template, kind of whatever works for you. Spending like 5 seconds a day tracking a new habit that I want to do, I would say like 5x's my likelihood of actually being able to get that habit to stick and taking it seriously. So I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. Once I've integrated the habit, I'll stop tracking it, but I found it really helpful to track habits during the building phase, so it may be something you want to consider during this challenge. The next tool is checking in on your goals. I find this is the most effective if done weekly, but monthly or every other week could be good too, just kind of depending on what you have time for. I find that checking on my goals, reassessing, seeing if I'm going in the right direction or if I need to readjust is one of the most helpful tools to increase the likelihood I'm going to achieve my goals, because it is so easy to set a goal and then never actually take the necessary steps to achieve it and forget about it. Sometimes I even check in on a goal and realize it doesn't feel aligned anymore and I just abandon it. Scratch it, no guilt, totally fine. I think the most important thing is setting an alarm, a calendar notification, or whatever once a week, even just for a few minutes. Think about your goals. Even the act of just remembering what I'm working towards helps remotivate me and keep me on track. Research shows that giving ourselves a cognitive reward where we just basically think, hey, I did a good job this week, I took the necessary steps to get closer to my goals, helps to re-up our dopamine levels. And as you may know, dopamine is a motivator hormone, which helps us to actually achieve our goals. So this is really beneficial. My next tip is one of my favorite pieces of advice to give any of my friends who will listen: hydration. Most of us are not drinking enough water. I think we all know that, right? But what I didn't realize was how beneficial it was to be hydrated. Before I started drinking more water about 6 months ago, I was feeling really fatigued and exhausted. I was taking a nap in the evening, like late afternoon, early evening, almost every day because I was so exhausted. And for me, the fix ended up being hydration. I didn't change my sleep, my exercise routine, anything. I just changed my hydration, started drinking enough water, and I haven't been napping like almost at all anymore. It's pretty crazy. Research shows that even slight levels of dehydration can impair both our cognitive and physical performance. Being dehydrated can create brain fog, fatigue, impair our focus, but being properly hydrated can enhance our focus, mental clarity, and overall energy throughout our nervous system. So what is enough water? It really depends on the person and lifestyle, but for most of us, a good starting point is 80 ounces of water a day. Adding more water when we're drinking things that are dehydrating like coffee or alcohol, when we're in a really hot environment and sweating a lot, when we're exercising, going in the sauna, things like that. If you want to calculate this exactly, I'll link some resources down below where you can look into that more. My next tip is spending time outside, and this kind of goes along with an active lifestyle and just taking advantage of the warmer months and good weather. Research shows that sunlight can boost our mood, and as we all probably know, vitamin D is really important to a lot of processes in our body, which we can get from being out in the sun. Time outside can also improve our sleep quality, and there are just tons and tons of health benefits to it. Of course, important to protect our skin, wearing a hat, covering up, wearing sunscreen, all of that good stuff. One thing I absolutely love about the warmer months is trying to integrate my fitness routine into my lifestyle. So rather than doing all of my workouts alone inside at the gym, which can get a little bit boring, I will do things like, back when I lived in California, I would go stand up paddleboarding with or swimming with friends, walking, running outside. I'm not very good at it, but I do love playing pickleball with my friends or my boyfriend. I think integrating these activities into your fitness routine can make it a lot more sustainable and enjoyable, and you get kind of a 2-for-1 if you're able to do these activities with friends and get a workout in at the same time. Let's talk about a really amazing gratitude practice. There's a lot of gratitude practices out there, but there's one that I really love because of the evidence found using this practice in the scientific literature. People reported feeling happier, more awe and joy and meaning in their life following this practice only once or twice a week. It can also reduce the inflammatory or stress response in our body and even change our brain to make the anxiety or stress pathways less likely to be activated and the feel-good pathways, including motivation, more likely to be activated. Here's how it works. It's only 60 seconds to 5 minutes per session. All you need to do is recall a story of either you receiving genuine gratitude from someone else or someone else receiving genuine gratitude. Once you pick a story, you can just write down a few bullet points that will help remind you of that story, or maybe there's a picture or a video clip you can watch or something like that. Remembering this story will cue your nervous system to experience gratitude and feel that, and you can see all of these different positive benefits. I have been personally using this for the last about 6 months, and it really does work, make me feel amazing, and I've noticed a huge difference, so I highly recommend it. I also do love trying to look with a gratitude lens in my day-to-day life, find things I'm grateful for. I still do love other gratitude practices, but I've seen really amazing benefits from this one in addition. Next thing is journaling, which I'm sure we've all heard before, but I just wanted to share kind of my experience with it and how I approach it in case it's helpful. I'm just talking about regular old journaling here, opening up a notebook and dumping my thoughts, feelings, experiences into it. I've been journaling since I probably was about 14 years old, on and off, but it's been one of the most helpful tools for me to like process things that happen in my life and really solve problems. Life is so fast paced and I feel like I have barely any time to think. Sitting down to journal is a really nice time to be, it's kind of meditative and I can really focus in on one thing that I'm thinking about, process, unpack it, and just slow down a little bit, which I really like. Whether I'm journaling on a situation I'm dealing with, a challenge I'm facing, or a problem I just need to solve, I find that after I journal, I feel more relaxed, clear-headed, and I often will solve my own problems during the journaling session. For me personally, I find that daily journaling is cool, but it's the first thing to go when I get busy. But I do find journaling to be an amazing tool when I have a problem I'm trying to work through, and it can really be flexible to whatever works for you. If daily journaling is something you want to prioritize and have time for, that's amazing. Or you could just try to do it once a week, every couple of weeks, or like I do it on an as-needed basis. So last but certainly not least, meditation. Meditation is something that I go in and out of, but I do find that when I'm meditating consistently, even if it's just for a couple minutes a day, I am really functioning at my best. There are a lot of well-documented benefits of meditation, but it can depend on the type of meditation. I could do a full separate video on this. If anyone's interested, leave a comment and let me know, but I'll just share what I like to do and the benefits that I've experienced. I feel less stressed and more relaxed on a day-to-day basis when I'm meditating consistently. My mood is significantly improved in the period after I meditate, and I feel more creative. I like to do guided meditations and follow prompts, but I do kind of let my mind wander otherwise, and I'm not trying to keep my mind clear. I'll just kind of let my thoughts pass me by, as they say in the meditation world. This type of meditating is really good for divergent thinking, which is a part of the creative process, where you're kind of coming up with novel solutions to problems and like combinations of ideas. Sometimes I'll just sit there and play relaxing music and let my thoughts wander. If you've never tried meditating before, I highly recommend it. Just to start out, I found it helpful to start with like 30 seconds to a minute long meditation because it is kind of uncomfortable at first, but over time I've been able to build that up and do it longer and longer, and now I enjoy a longer like 10 to 15 minute meditation, which I would have thought was crazy when I first started. It was so hard for me, but just know if you're a beginner, starting small is totally fine. I hope that you can take the next 75 days to invest in yourself, grow, build some new habits. I would love to hear about your journey and your goals in the comments down below, so make sure to let me know what you're working on. And if you're interested in a community of people also working towards the same health, fitness, and wellness goals, tons more content, fitness programs, daily menus with recipes, challenges, including the full version of the 75 Summer Wellness Challenge, check out the Radiant community. As a reminder, your first month is entirely risk-free. If you don't love it, I will give you a full refund. I only want you to pay for it if you absolutely love it and get so much value out of it. If you enjoyed this video, you may be interested in my habit building video about how I get habits to actually stick. I'll link it up here in case you want to check it out. If you'd like to see more from me, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.